So I haven't done a video in a little bit, I've come to realize. So crazy story, I'll catch updates on everything that happened. So my 6-year-old son got into the area that I placed my mice at. I'm also right now making hammocks for him, but anyways. So he got into the area I placed my mice at, and he did this before, and he ended up capturing Brain and Pinky, which at that time that they were fighting really bad. So I had them in different areas as Brain was with Bean, the female wild mouse, and he ended up getting a hold of them too. And he brought them to his closet. Now, luckily, they were too busy fighting than trying to escape, so they didn't get away. So I got them back. Then later on, it was either the next day or that day, I can't remember. I go to pick up my other kids from school because my son's homeschooled while the other ones go to public school. Picked up the other kids, and he was in that area again. I forgot to lock it. And I get in, he's hiding underneath the table, and the enclosures don't look to be touched. When last time he had the whole thing flipped around, so I knew immediately. And they looked untouched, so I just sent them out. The males were all there, and it looked like everyone was there. And very next day, I realized I haven't really seen much of them. Besides for Pinky, he was by himself. So I go to check, and they're gone. And at this point, I came to realize that it was when he was in there, is when he had him escape, and he put everything back. And it so happened when I went in is after he put everything back. So I set traps out to trap them, because for one, Brain's a pet mouse, and he's a male. Number one, he doesn't know how to survive on his own, and he also, being a male, won't be accepted by the wild mice, so he wouldn't make it long. And being with Brain for a while, there was a chance that they could have done things. I don't know if they did or not, because he's not as developed in age-wise as Pinky is. But there's always that chance. So I didn't want a chance of her being released and possibly being pregnant and giving birth to baby mice. So I ended up getting Brain pretty quickly. After like 5-10 minutes after setting the trap, I caught him. And then it was later on that night, I saw Bean. She popped up, and I ended up catching her, but she popped up right at Bubbles' enclosure. And and I knew it was Bean because Bubbles came right up, and she's got her babies in there, her little babies, and she was fine with her. And then I trapped her. Well, very next night, after trapping them, I noticed another mouse looked just like Bean, except I have Bean, was sitting on top of Bubbles' enclosure, and Bubbles was not okay. She attacked her through the top of the enclosure, and actually getting a hold of her at one moment. I ended up catching her because I had some traps out that I forgot after catching them too. So I caught her, and I put her in the little quarantine spot that I have so I can check her over, and over time I leave them in there for a little bit to make sure there's no illness, nothing on their ears or anything like that. And once I deem that they're healthy, because mice, it's actually rather easy to tell if a mouse is healthy or not. I find mice and rats to be easier than most animals when it comes to illness, because most rodents I guess, you know, like most animals in general, like prey, they don't show symptoms or anything due to the fact of them being prey, while mice and rats do. They show symptoms that they're sick. And so it's very obvious. And after that, I put him with whoever. Now, obviously, I can't put her with Bubbles because Bubbles already attacked her through the enclosure because of her babies. She doesn't know her. Well, Bean, she knows. So I decided to put her with Pinky to also help the research on deer mice breeding with pet mice, as deer mice are like a different species. Like they're a mouse, but there's pet mice and house mice have about 48 chromosomes, if I remember right, and a deer mouse has 40 chromosomes. Now, it has been reported from people catching them and breeding them that they had babies and that they in fact can breed. So there has been that reporting, but nobody has took the offspring and bred them. So what I'm doing is that I'm breeding them with my pets that I got, and then I'm gonna take one of each gender from their litters, and then when they get to the breeding age, I'm going to breed them. Now the cool thing about both Bean and now Butter is going to be having a litter. It depends how quickly. Like I'm kind of iffy on it because of Butter's possibly being pregnant, just for the fact that she's kind of bigger, so I can't get a good look into if she's already pregnant, because I'm really keeping my eye on that with the older mice, because Bubbles is an older mouse and she came pregnant and her entire pregnancy was in captivity. So I've been really looking at Butters over, but Pinky's been really trying, and ever since like she went in like all day yesterday and all last night he was trying. Now since being daytime he hasn't done anything, so I'm guessing they did mate and that they're gonna be having babies. But with them, you know, I was questioning if they were related because of the fact they look alike, and she seems to be interested in all the places that Bean has been. So it made me think of relation, but I have put the enclosure side by side, so then when the females are taken out and be put back with Bubbles after her babies hit a certain age, so they can carry their pregnancies in there, and Bubbles being an experienced mom, as she didn't kill this litter, so it's obviously not her first litter. With Bean, it is her first litter, so she would most likely eat the first litter. I'm looking at Butters, definitely wouldn't be her first litter, so she wouldn't eat them. So I would be able to keep babies from that one to continue my testing. Otherwise, I would have to rebreed Bean, put her back in and try to get her to rebreed her. Unfortunately. So they're exciting. There's a fly that's randomly came up to me. Anyways, but that's pretty exciting, and I'm really excited about all of it. But right now, Bubbles babies, like, she's not letting me get pictures or any more videos. She'll let me see them, but other than that, so I get a quick look at them, but not in a way to where I can get any pictures. They're starting to get fur, so it's like a very thin fur, but they're starting to get fur, so that's really nice. Uh, they're a week old now, 7 days. So they got about another 7 days before they're like actually up and about. But during this week is when they're going to have their most growth, because then they're going to get the rest of their fur. Once they get their fur, they start to look more like a mouse. Because right now they still don't look like a mouse, but they start to look more like a mouse in these coming weeks. And then by next week, they'll be opening their eyes. December 3rd, around that area, is when I'm going to have to separate them. And I am preparing the enclosures for that to happen, because I am only keeping the females and one male from Bubbles, and that one male is going to be put into a separate area for breeding for Butters or Bean, to keep the purebred, of deer mice as well. And then I can also, but if I end up catching a wild male, then I would be just keeping that wild male in the area with the girls. So then they would all just end up having babies that way anyways. But the keeping a male from her is just in case I don't end up catching a wild male in the IMO, because so far I've only caught females, haven't caught any males. So I'm not really thinking I'm gonna catch a male. So I'm just keeping one to use for the others, just in case I don't ever catch a male. So I'm just thinking smart there. But then I'm going to have the rest of the males I'm going to sell. And then, like I said, I have the Beans and Butters litter. I'm going to keep one male, one female, and then sell the rest. Try to breed them with other mice and see if they reproduce. I'm also going to breed them together. Not siblings, but since there's two litters with the same variables of, I'm going to breed them together and see if they make viable babies, and so I'm really excited to get that started, because it should be in like a month or so that they have babies. So it'll be a lot of babies. Which is also where I've also going to be, because like I said, I'm going to be selling them. And I started making hammocks for them. I made one for Bean and for Brain. Unfortunately for Brain, he has not, for the life of him, figured out how to get on top of the house. I use a guinea pig house, because I used to have guinea pigs for them. And I'm able to see in pretty well. And he just, for the life of him, cannot figure out how to get on top of it. So Bean is the only one who can use it, and she uses it. She likes it, especially when I first put it up. She was like all over, because she likes to jump while she's running on, like she'd be running upside down in the enclosure, and she likes to jump on things and then fly back up, because she can jump super high to where it almost looks like she's flying. So I'm making one for the female enclosure. There's a spot that, because like theirs is a 55 gallon, and I have a 2-sided lid, so there's only one side that I actually lift up. So the other side of the lid won't be touched, so it will be a lot easier to for them, because I don't have to move and take it out all the time. Like for Bean and Brain, every time I open it, I gotta take it out, because I don't have, it's only one lid. And then I'm gonna be making one for Butters and Pinky for the rest of the enclosures, and kind of just see with that. And then if it's successful and everything and they really like it, then I'll be making, and I'm also going to be making little cozy houses to see what they like better until I get the money. Because like over time with selling the mice and even these things for other people is going to help me upgrade, because eventually I want to get these houses that I found. One is like a 6 large bedroom house to where like there's like sections of nest for the females, and they have smaller ones too to where as well. And I want to get the 6 large bedroom one for the females, and then so then I can keep 6 females together, to where they have their own nesting spots and everything. And I can also then they also have it to where I can open it and check on the babies that way, make it a lot easier than with Bubbles' birth, and how I gotta check the babies, because with Bubbles it's like all the material that they already used in my house. Like it's the material that I've noticed that the nest was made out of, that they made, that Bean's mom made in the wild. And I didn't realize that she was actually pregnant. So it's really difficult to check the babies. But yeah, that's it all today.